Welcome to Husky Howls from New Covenant Academy.
Welcome back to another episode of Husky Howls, a production from New Covenant Academy of Los Angeles. As always, please subscribe to our channel and share our content with others who will find our podcasts helpful. Today, we're going to address the notion of self-adjudication or self-assessment that students should develop before they become adults.
Yeah, and it's a topic that really forces us to rethink a lot of conventional wisdom, about education and how we prepare youth for the real world.
Right. Our mission for today's deep dive is to explore how stepping back, letting youth navigate their own conflicts actually prepares them for life outside of school.
And we have some really interesting materials on the table today to help us unpack this.
We do. We're looking at a humorous article from Let Grow by Lenore Skenazy about a very specific middle school conflict. We also have New Covenant Academy's official honor code and a philosophical piece by Dr. Jason Song about student autonomy.
It's a great mix of sources. And the core theme here is that giving students the space to fail, to argue, and to ultimately resolve their own issues, that is a vital component of a sound education.
It really is. So let's start with the problem. I want to introduce the scenario from the Let Grow article. It's called The Great Middle School Microwave War.
I love that title.
Right. It took place at the Village School in Virginia. So picture this. You have an 80-student school.
Okay.
And about 15 hungry middle schoolers who all want a hot lunch at the same time. But there is only one microwave.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you can already see the friction building there.
Yeah.
Just one appliance for 15 kids with a limited lunch period.
Yeah, the chaos was pretty immediate. They were yelling, arguing over time. Some kids even started setting the microwave for 8 minutes just to provoke their peers.
8 minutes.
Yeah, which meant other kids were missing their post-lunch free play, just waiting for their food. It was a real mess.
And, that's where the adult perspective becomes so crucial. The school has these guides, Aaron Dropisa and Bridget Yoko, and they purposefully held back.
Which must have been so hard to do.
Oh, for sure. It required serious restraint not to just step in and fix it via top-down regulation. I mean, they could have easily just unplugged the microwave or set a strict timer themselves.
It's kind of like watching someone struggle to build a piece of complex furniture, right?
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
The urge to just take the tools and do it for them is so strong. But if you do that, they never learn how to use the tools themselves.
Yeah, that restraint forces a necessary process. It forces the kids to assess reality and actually seek out solutions on their own.
Well, that's what happened here. The kids figured it out during their student-run community meetings.
So it wasn't pretty at first, I imagine.
Oh, definitely not. It started with a lot of loud blaming. The school counselor even had to cover her ears at one point because the yelling was so loud.
Wow. But they had to go through that messy phase to get to the other side.
They did. Eventually, the student leaders hit a wall. They demanded order and required everyone to raise their hands if they wanted to speak. The article actually calls this the dawn of civilization.
The dawn of civilization. I like that. So they brought order to the chaos. What was their solution?
They decided they needed to host a bake sale to raise money to buy a second microwave. And it worked. They came up with a workable solution for everyone.
That's great. And, connecting this to Dr. Jason Song's piece, the real value there wasn't just getting the second microwave.
Right.
It was the process of students learning to assess a situation. They had to negotiate with others who have different priorities and preferences and find a solution that works for all. They learned problem identification, healthy discussion, and responsible solution finding.
So what does this all mean? A healthy school community is a place where such processes are not only accommodated, but also encouraged, like New Covenant Academy.
Yeah, that's a really important takeaway.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more, though. It's one thing to let middle schoolers argue over a microwave. But what happens when the stakes are higher? What about real rule violations or academic integrity?
That is where the New Covenant Academy Honor Code comes into the picture. They view academic integrity not just as a private matter between a student and a teacher, but as a community responsibility.
That makes a lot of sense. The students actually have to sign a pledge. It says, I will not lie, cheat, or steal in my academic endeavors, nor will I accept the actions of those who do.
That second part is really the kicker, isn't it?
Yeah, the nor will I accept the actions of those who do part. The text even cites a Japanese proverb that says, the reputation of 1,000 years may be determined by the conduct of 1 hour.
It really emphasizes the weight of their choices. And NCA puts this self-adjudication into practice through its honor council, right?
They do, yeah. The Honor Council serves as this student-led court system. It's pretty fascinating. The members are elected by students and then confirmed by teachers, and they serve for a one-year term. So they are the ones who serve as peer judges when it comes to student conflicts, misconduct, rules violations, things like that.
Wait, let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
If students are judging their own friends for cheating or breaking rules, doesn't that just lead to a slap on the wrist? I mean, why not just have the principal hand out a punishment?
Well, you would think that, but the expert's analysis, or rather Dr. Song's insights in the text, he dismantles that assumption. He argues that top-down adult punishment often fails to create true accountability.
Because the kids just focus on the punishment rather than what they actually did wrong.
Right. So instead, the Honor Council focuses on restorative justice. Before any adults even intervene, these peer judges ask some really deep questions.
Yeah, what kind of questions?
They ask what caused this situation and who was hurt. And then they figure out, how do we restore our community values of integrity, respect, and restoration?
Having to answer those questions in front of your peers seems a lot more intimidating than just getting a detention from a principal.
It really does. But to be clear, it's not just a talking session. There are real consequences outlined in the code.
Right. There have to be actual sanctions.
Yeah, like minor offenses mean 0 credit on the assignment. Major offenses mean an F in the class. And flagrant offenses mean suspension or dismissal without a tuition refund.
Wow, those are serious stakes.
Mm-hmm.
But because it comes from their peers, that accountability carries more weight.
It does. Principal Song has a quote in the text that sums it up well. He says, "It is not what you do when you're being watched that matters. It is what you do when no one is watching that matters." Giving kids this trust and opportunity builds true Christian leadership.
That makes a lot of sense, and it leaves you with something really important to think about regarding the future.
What do you mean?
Well, think about the workforce. If we don't allow students to practice self-adjudication and navigate friction in school, what happens when they become adults?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, do we end up with a culture of adults who immediately run to a manager or HR to resolve every minor interpersonal dispute just because they never built that muscle of conflict resolution themselves?
That is a really provocative thought to leave off on. Thanks for listening to today's podcast. Please share our episodes with your family and friends. Help us grow our listener base. Have a good rest of your day.